If I ask you, how much does your energy cost you? Is your first thought about how much you pay for your electricity? Do you then add in what you pay for transportation energy every time you buy gasoline for your car or take a bus or train? If you're like most people, you might also soon realize that you pay for the oil, gas, propane, or wood energy that keeps your home livable and comfortable. Almost 90% of greenhouse gases come from burning fossil fuels for our electricity, heating, and transportation. Heating and cooling our buildings is responsible for about 40% of our greenhouse gas emissions and costs New Yorkers over $14 billion a year. To reach our climate goals, we have to move to clean, emission-free heating technologies. To help us make that transition, New York State utilities are spending $454 million to incentivize consumers like you to move to clean heating. The people, governments, and institutions in the mid-Hudson Valley have long been leaders in clean energy adoption and innovation. Today, we speak with Mark Sclafani, the Director of Demand-Side Management at Central Hudson Gas and Electric. Mark has always been interested in saving money and making things more efficient, but today he leads Central Hudson's efforts on energy efficiency, clean energy, and energy conservation programs that help customers save energy and money. Now, get ready to hear Mark tell us how Central Hudson's clean heating and cooling programs can provide you with $10,000 of cash incentives toward the purchase of a high-efficiency geothermal heating and cooling system and Energize. Welcome. If you would, please let folks know who you are, where you work, what do you do?
Hi, Ron. Thanks for having me today. I'm Mark Sclafani. I'm the Director of Demand Side Management at Central Hudson Gas and Electric. And Demand Side Management is a broad department that covers a whole slew of energy efficiency, clean energy, and conservation programs that help our customers save energy and money.
Fantastic, Mark. And we'd like to start with why. So first, why do you do what you do? Why are you personally involved with this program? And why is Central Hudson involved in this?
Well, there's a lot of reasons. Primarily, we're committed to clean energy programs, programs that help the climate, programs that curb emissions, and help our customers use energy most efficiently and effectively. These programs also align very well with the state's clean energy policy. So it's really a win-win.
And why are you involved, Mark? I mean, because you probably have something motivated besides just the fact that it's your job, if I'm not mistaken, maybe?
Sure. So I'm an engineer by training. I got my degree in mechanical engineering from Binghamton University, and I've always been interested in the efficient technologies. I've always been interested in kind of ways to save energy, make things more efficient. And as well, I'm an outdoorsman. I really enjoy the outdoors. I enjoy hiking and skiing. And so there's kind of a personal benefit to me to be working on something that helps the environment.
Great. So I didn't realize you were a Binghamton alumni too. We share that common. So.
Oh, great.
Yeah. When did you graduate?
I graduated in 2008, Watson
Okay.
School.
Yeah, I was an undergraduate in the School of Management and then actually a graduate of the Watson School before it was the Watson School, when it was the School of Advanced Technology. So a little before your
Fantastic.
time. Yeah, it was great, man. It was a great place, wasn't it? It was just really
Yes.
awesome. All right. Would you happen to have, we call them a quantum quote, an inspirational quote that helps people's mindset shift a little bit. So do you have a favorite one you'd like to share?
Yeah, I think the most appropriate one that comes to mind is work smarter, not harder. And the reason I really like that one is because, as you know, that's what heat pumps do. They work smarter by using available heat energy that's already in either the ambient air or in the ground, rather than heating the air up directly like a traditional heating system would.
Work smarter, not harder. Love it. All right. Well, tell us a bit about Central Hudson's clean energy actions in general, and then we'll talk about the clean heat program in specific, but in general for Central Hudson.
Sure. So what our goal is to develop programs that really target every customer segment and every end use so that there's something available to them. We have energy efficiency programs that serve our commercial industrial customers with options like efficient lighting, efficient industrial process improvements. We also have various residential programs that help customers get discounts on efficient technologies. Many of the big box stores within our service territory are partners in our point of sale program. You'll notice in a lot of those aisles with efficient products, there's a Central Hudson logo near the discounted items. We also have lots of demand management and conservation programs that are designed to help us support the grid during peak hours by reducing the load in constrained areas. We're also getting into now a really robust, what we call EVSE, electric vehicle supply equipment, essentially a charging network. We're trying to build out a really robust charging network within our service territory so that as electric vehicles really become mainstream, customers have places to charge them.
Incredible. Fantastic. And on the clean heat program, tell us about those goals and what you guys are offering.
Well, we have really ambitious goals for that program. We're looking to achieve roughly 255,000 MMBTU of savings by 2025. So what does that mean? It really comes down to, by our estimation, around 15,000 heat pumps installed in our service territory under this program between 2020 and 2025.
And what kind of, how are you getting that out there, and what kind of incentives can people look for in those heat pumps?
Well, the primary way that the program is getting to customers is through our qualified network of program installers. We're working with about 100 local installers that have expertise in installing both ground source and air source heat pumps and other related technologies. And customers can work with the contractor of their choosing within the program to understand what the scope of the project will be for their building, to understand the incentives. And what we've seen so far is that for a residential customer, the typical incentive for an air source heat pump system is around $3,000, and for ground source, it's around $10,000. So that's a direct price reduction paid for by Central Hudson for the customer.
And that gets paid to the contractor and comes off the top for the customer, or?
So it can actually be paid either way. It depends on the customer preference and what the contractor set up to do. So if the customer prefers, they can have it reduced directly from the invoice price, and then the contractor will receive the incentive, or the customer can receive it in the form of a rebate check.
Outstanding. And so tell us, what do you like the differences between the air source and the ground source of the geothermal systems?
Well, ground source uses the heat already in the ground. Once you dig down a certain distance, the ground's around 55 degrees all year in our latitude. So there's really an opportunity to get down there and use a heat exchanger in order to use that heat to heat our homes. It also works as a cooling source in the summer. It requires an underground well. So there'll either be a horizontal or a vertical well dug somewhere on the property adjacent to the building to really tap into that resource. An air source heat pump works a little bit differently by using the heat in the ambient air. And it's essentially an air conditioner running in reverse. You could think of it that way. And they are very, very efficient. They're not quite as efficient as ground source, but they're both significantly more efficient than a traditional heating system.
And Central Hudson incentivizes the ground source to almost pretty much triple, right? I mean,
right. So the outcome is that it ends up being about triple for a lot of reasons, because it typically becomes economical in a larger building, we've seen. So it's a larger heating load that it's serving. But yes, the customers that have participated in the ground source program have seen a significantly larger incentive.
Great. And in addition to the customers saving money, it appears like this whole electrification piece can also benefit Central Hudson and your grid, right?
What we look at in terms of the grid is we're kind of shifting load. So we get better utilization from the grid, which is better for all customers. Our grid typically peaks in the summer on hot afternoons when everybody's getting home from work, when stores are still open, and everyone's running air conditioning all at the same time. By electrifying heating load, what we're doing is utilizing the system better during the winter, at nighttime when there's not as much load. And the more throughput through the system, the better it is for all customers because on average, you get better volumetric throughput.
Yeah, so in kind of layperson's terms, so in the summer, if you're using a geothermal heating system, you're capturing that 55 degrees from the earth. So you're just starting with 55 degrees, which means that you need a lot less energy than you would if you just had a standard air conditioner trying to manage 80, 90, 100 degree temperatures. And then, as you're saying, because we're shifting from other forms of fossil heating in the winter, now we can use bit more electricity when there's more electricity available, and because we're using more electric all the time, that means that the cost per unit or the overall cost is kind of coming down. Do I have that right?
Yeah. So actually I would phrase it as it manages the overall rate pressure, because what happens is when you look at it volumetrically, the grid is really built to deliver the peak load during those peak summer days. And so during those peak summer days, it's at 100% utilization. Every other day is something less than that. So the more throughput we can put through that system, there's a bigger number of kilowatt hour sales that we can recover that cost over. And what the result is a slightly lower volumetric rate than there otherwise would be.
Great. So people could save money, Central Hudson still makes money, and the grid is more efficiently utilized. Pretty sweet.
Exactly.
All right. So how do customers, so you said the way they access the program is through an installer, and where do they find information about the qualified installers?
The easiest way to find out is by going to centralhudson.com and selecting My Energy. You can find out about all of our clean energy programs there, including the New York State Clean Heat heat pump program. There'll be a list of trade outlets that you can select from.
Great. And Mark, if you had to sort of share one unique tip, tool, or tactic that you think people need to know, but most people don't, what might it be?
What I would say is there's a lot of thought out there about the upfront cost of a geothermal system. And something that people should really be considering is new construction. What we're seeing in our service territory now is that there's not a lot of supply in residential housing. And so we would anticipate potentially seeing some new construction coming. And new construction is the absolute best time to consider a geothermal system. And so if you're interested in a new house, or if you're purchasing in a development, consider geothermal as an option there, because there's really a low incremental cost when compared to a traditional heating system when you do it at the time of construction.
That's a really excellent point. I mean, so when you're doing new construction, you're already mobilizing people, you already have heavy duty equipment, you're digging things up for the foundation, and just adding in a geothermal well is just an incremental cost. And by doing that, now you're tapping into that 55 degrees. That's billions of years worth of Earth's energy under our feet. So it's really pretty amazing. And one of the things we've done with the show and throughout the geothermal world now is documented that just these vertical wells that going down 500 feet under the footprint of most buildings can carry the heating, cooling, and hot water load for up to 25 or 30 stories, even as far north as Canada. So in many ways, it's a very cost-effective option, and the total cost of ownership is less. And then meanwhile, you're doing it with new construction, you could put it right into your mortgage. That's great.
Right.
Great. Excellent.
And another key thing that people may not know about air source heat pumps specifically is that our program only supports what we call NEEP cold climate certified air source heat pumps, which means they can handle the coldest days that are happening here in the Hudson Valley. It can serve the entire heating load. It doesn't need to be a supplemental system, as many of the air source heat pumps of past decades used to be.
Really excellent point. So while many contractors still kind of poo-poo an air source heat pump as a supplemental, the reality is the technology has come, the advances have happened, and now it's good down to like minus 15. They can handle the whole load, right?
Right. So the NEEP cold climate, I believe, is -5 that it can handle up to, and some of them can go even colder. And as long as it's sized appropriately, there's no reason that a modern system shouldn't be able to handle a full heating load all winter.
Great. And NEEP is the Northeast Energy Efficiency Partnership. Is that what NEEP is?
That's right.
Okay, great. It's a certain standard that's gotten out there that a lot of the utilities have adopted, and that just makes it easier for people to evaluate one system versus another. So, great stuff, Mark.
That's right. We decided as utilities throughout New York, we weren't going to reinvent the wheel. There's a really good standard out there already with NEEP, and we're going to utilize that standard.
Outstanding. What's the one thing you're most energized about today, Mark?
Well, I think from my perspective, this is an amazing time to be in this field. And in particular, there's two major electrification technologies that are both really coming to the mainstream at the same time. And we think about building space heating, air source heat pumps, and geothermal systems is one major area where these technologies are really coming cost comparative with traditional heating systems. And they're really becoming mainstream, particularly with our incentives. At the same time, vehicle electrification, we expect it to really take off in the next few years, and we're gearing up for that with vehicle charging and other things. So from my perspective, it's just a really exciting time to be in the field.
Really exciting. And Central Hudson has been at the forefront of this electrification movement for a while. You guys have led the state in percentage of your constituents that are going to solar and other electric efficient technologies. And boy, really exciting times. You're absolutely right, man. All right, Mark, piece of parting advice and guidance and the best way for people to get a hold of you.
Well, I would like to plug our really excellent program manager, Ray Cotto. He's really the best person to get into the nitty-gritty details for those that are interested in participating in the program and interested in heat pumps in general. He's really the expert on our team, and he can guide them a little bit in more detail.
And to find Ray and to get more information again?
Sure. So his email is rcotto@cenhud.com.
And the website?
centralhudson.com.
Outstanding. Anything we missed that you wanted to touch on, Mark?
No, thanks, Ron. I think we covered it. Appreciate your time today. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us today, awesome people. We'd like to hear from you, and we'll give you the chance to win a $150 LED light fixture if you help us understand how Awesome Earthkind can help you achieve your clean energy goals. Just go to awesomeearthkind.com and click on Tell Us. When you fill out the survey, you'll automatically be entered into a sweepstakes for a free LED light fixture, and we'll be giving one away every month for the rest of the year. If you like what we're doing, please rate and review the Awesome Earthkind podcast on your favorite podcast platform. And if you're interested in adding clean energy consulting to your existing business offerings, go to awesomeearthkind.com/earn. When you refer us to a commercial building and they decide to go clean and save green with Earthkind Energy's consulting services, your referral will save money and you'll earn finder's fees worth thousands of dollars. Remember, you are an awesome force of nature and can make a real difference. Take your next step to create the clean energy future we all want and our children need and deserve. Until next time, take care, be well, and energize.